Alright. Should be streaming now. Hopefully. There we go. Alright, we are live. We do not have music. So I just get to enjoy all the non-copyright sounds without you guys. I'm sorry. Little impromptu, but yeah, feel free to drop messages in chat or request or anything. So I've been playing around with some stuff while I haven't been streaming. I've mostly just been kind of watching stuff with Netflix with the lady friend. Um, but I have been looking for something else besides influxdb to do the backend stuff. Partially so I can use Grafana, and partially because there's some things that kind of suck about influx. Okay. Grafana. There's some things about influxdb, mostly on the front end side, that I'm not like thrilled with. I can go into that ad nauseum. I am hyped for the Steam Deck Blue. Also, great seeing you again. Steam Deck I'm pretty hype about, mostly because it's going to be better for Linux gaming. I don't plan on buying one, because usually when I'm out and about, I want to be like in reality, but it's going to mean I can finally play games without booting into Windows. It's the biggest part. I've heard some talk about how like it screws all the Linux porters, but it's like it's a really small market, and I don't think we're going to get a lot of proprietary devs to move their cheese and learn how to program for something that's like 1% of the market. It's kind of one of the crappy parts about being in like any sort of major minority, is getting people to spend resources on you is super hard because you're not a huge target audience, whereas like Windows, yeah. Oh yeah, and it'll finally be an Arch install I can use because I'm too much of a brandlet to use Arch. Good point, Blue. Alright, so Grafana dashboards. So far, all I have is the host metrics, but I have been playing around with using victoriametrics, which gives the ability to emulate the influx write API for metrics. So it can't do strings or logs or anything like that, but it can deal with numbers. So to deal with the number side of it, I am going to be using Loki. So today I was just going to set up start exporting syslog into Loki via Telegraph. It's actually really cool that it will just like yeet stuff in there for you, parsed and log formatted, but we'll go over that in a second. So for now, I just have like a generic host one. I was going to use library, panels, and Grafana to deal with everything, but yeah. So yeah, we're switching from Grafana over to, we're switching from Influx All The Things to using victoriametrics, Loki, and Grafana, probably. So far, I've tested editing dashboards, which wasn't too bad. The new alerting for InfluxDB's okay, or not InfluxDB. I'm going to screw that up a few times. The new alerting for Grafana is pretty alright. We don't have any Loki ones, obviously, but it was pretty easy to set up a dead man check. I need to figure out how to get like host names and whatnot set up with it, but it's there. And it also has SMTP built in, which is super handy. Yeah, it's super easy to figure out once you do it, but yeah. Well, it's really cool seeing you, Blue. Good hearing from you. Thanks for showing up on the impromptu stream. Good job being a parent, by the way. Parenting and like bonding with the real world's probably more important than watching streams. And by probably, I mean very much more so important. Yeah. Alerting, I don't have to integrate with a proprietary service like PagerDuty, which makes me a happy hippie. Victoriametrics on the back end doesn't support Flux or InfluxQL. It supports PromQL, which is Prometheus, which has way more people using it, so there's some more help there. And the code's a lot shorter, and I have to edit less code, which is nice. I kind of already put the investment into learning Flux, but yeah. If you haven't made that investment already, PromQL or the logQL thing's probably easier. Um, so what I mean by that is, I guess you can just go into a panel and kind of talk about why I'm partially crap canning a whole bunch of work. So log into my influxdb instance, pop it out into its own browser. All right. So I have to recreate all these dashboards now, which kind of sucks, and port it so it works with two databases, which I will be the first to admit just sucks. But I would think it makes sense. If you disagree with me, that's why I stream and try to do as much in the public as possible. So we'll go into our dashboards, host metrics. See, we're kind of getting to a similar spot here. But let's pull up something that isn't public. Let's pull up Historia on both of these. I'm worried Loki crashed, because that's a text metric. So to get the CPU percent thing, let's go in and edit this. Bam, one line, 100 minus CPU host idle. Not too bad. That's all the actual code there was. There was the victoriametrics stuff. From here, I had to filter out, and it's like 10 lines of code, and doing a 1 minus operation requires calling another function, which is kind of stupid, in my opinion. So that shorter code thing is definitely way easier to deal with. Browsing metrics would be another one too. So if I go to explore here, is Loki even working? Oh god. Well, Loki crashed, so Loki was probably not enabled in the first place. And I restarted my firewall yesterday. Or restarted my hypervisor yesterday. So sudo system ctl start Loki. That is one thing that's going to be worse if you're a user of this system, is that Loki will not be you have to figure out which thing you're querying. Is if you want to query metrics, you have to query Prometheus, quote unquote, or victoriametrics. If you want to quote or query logs, you have to query Loki. Whereas in Influx, you just kind of like, you use FluxQL. It's that one thing to rule them all mentality that I definitely liked a lot more about Influx. But I've had some queries crash stuff, but then realized that it was like, well, this VM only has 2 gigs of RAM, and you're asking for 7 days of postfix mail relays logs. You might be the problem. There's other stuff too, though, like the SMTP alerts. And the alerting interface in general is way better. Alright, now let's see if Loki actually... what? 10.0.0.30.3.1. Uh-oh. That's no bueno. Bertoltz... sudo system ctl status Loki. Crap. I'm gonna double check. So let's get this shell script. Okay. Alright, so this is the script I'm doing. It is a bit more complicated, but I would argue it's kind of worth it. But Grafana is basically a better front end, and I'm not exactly thrilled with like all the cool stuff that lands in InfluxDB Cloud that isn't landing in OSS, and I just want to use something that's straight OSS. I don't have to use someone else's infrastructure. So yeah. So yeah, you just run a simple shell script and it should spin everything up for you. I'll port it to Ansible, but the shell script was just quicker and dirtier for now. So hopefully we're going to see some logging. So far I keep on like, I put a barrier in the way to switching. So it'll be like, okay, I need to be able to do a dead man check. And if I can't do a dead man check, then I will not use, I'll like keep on developing on the influx branch. But I keep on putting those branches up and knocking them down. And now it's mostly going to be like logging. I forget where I'm at right now. I think it's just porting the dashboards over to see how that goes. Because I can do a dead man check. I can do a resource check. I need to do a log check for the system D units. So the system D units come in as strings, which means victoriametrics will just see them as zeros. But Loki will actually see them as logs. So I need to do a log query for that. And I also, after that, is going to be scaling. So I just need to like start plopping all the data in where I think it needs to go and see how that goes. Which you can do in OpenSense, and I have my shell right here. So, yeah. We'll actually get to doing some stuff now, but basically I'm thinking and leaning more towards using victoriametrics, grafana, and Loki instead of influxdb for all the things, but leave the telegraph collector the same. Because changing the config isn't really that different, and we can go into that later. But yeah, if you have any questions or think I'm crazy or think I'm right, drop them in chat, like on the video, and I still use the influxdb, and that's what I consider to be production, but it's mostly just research and development at this point. So let's actually run the setup script. Sudo bash. Should be pulling the Docker images now. And eventually this bash script will get fleshed out into a full out Ansible playbook, because it's easier to do things like making it modular and splitting it amongst multiple hosts and all that kind of fun stuff. Especially for things like victoriametrics and Loki, they scale out horizontally. So, all right, all the containers are pulled. Let's figure out why Loki isn't working. lsofin pipe. We'll grep that into 3100. So victoriametrics is listening on stuff, but Loki isn't. You Loki follow. Alright, so some wires getting crossed where the victoriametrics container is running for Loki. So sudo vi, or I don't need to do that as root. Clear nvim shift rmm.bash. Anyway, all right. So I want to say that this container label is goofed. Mount Loki config.yaml. Podman create label. Oh crap. Found it. I found it. We go back, yeet, insert Loki. I'm starting the container twice. So that's why it's saying, oh, victoriametrics is running. There's two services running that. That's probably bad. All right. So now we should actually see some Loki data coming through. Which made me worried that like Loki just crashed, and I'm like, oh god, no. Because influx You had to give influx a reason to crash, like not giving it enough resources. And now I actually have a 404. So now we should be able to refresh this and get logs from like 2 days ago. But yeah. Has the same simple query language. It's a first class thing in Grafana. And I guess I should go over, before I start eating syslog into it. The other thing that I didn't like about influx was that I couldn't get like some pie charts and whatnot. And I couldn't get pie charts and some other visualizations. And I couldn't just switch to Grafana because then you have no WYSIWYG editor in a functional programming language. So you have to learn what is currently a domain-specific programming language just to see like 500 errors out of Nginx, which is kind of stupid. I wish Grafana would do that, but I kind of get, since they are heavily invested in Graphite, Prometheus, and like competing technologies. Now they're kind of competitors, and that friendly relationship from the influxdb 1 era is not really there. But personally, love me some Grafana. And I really wish that they would just support FluxQL with the GUI, and I wouldn't have to turn on legacy stuff to get it to work. All right, so let's yeet some data. So this is the syslog config. I'm keeping Telegraph around because it's the best collector I found. I tried playing. The beats suck because there's a bunch of agents for things. Promtail and Graphites aren't great because, excuse me, Promtail only covers logs, so it requires more than one agent. Basically, Telegraph is the only like sane agent that can collect everything. GitHub. And their documentation's solid. It's a really good agent, and by no means when I like criticize influxdb, I'm not saying it sucks. I'm saying it's like I think I can trade off some complexity on the back end and kind of automate some of that away for a better front end experience. So that's the bet I'm making right now, and I'm willing to be proven wrong by myself or anyone else. Syslog. All right, so for syslog, we are going to learn how to type. Insert. Maybe learn how to type. I don't know. Probably not. All right. Screw you, FreeBSD. Nano. Not accessible. And then I wonder, OpenSense, Pangolin, if you have to use the OTP key. Yeah, you do. Well, this sucks. So we'll paste you in. Pangolin, copy. Oh, crap. So now we have to copy Pangolin. Why did I turn on MFA from my firewall? I just hate myself that much, I guess. But my security. Yeah. All right. Well, it was nice while it lasted, security. I'm going to turn my root account back on. This is so annoying. I guess I could just turn off MFA for now and turn it back on later. So let's go. I'm doing this off screen just in case. Edit. Disabled. Inherited from all pages, user certs, API keys. I think you have to change like the back end for it though. User bin. Or maybe I just need to change the pangolin shell. Users, pangolin, because I think my shell is bin sh instead of the open sense shell, which is dumb. So what is it? /bin open. I have to figure out what the actual shell is for root. Instead of bin sh like some sort of uncivilized monster, I can just use the root one. User local sbin open sense shell. Alright, go back, come on. Pangolin. He is an admin in fact, but it won't let me pick my own. What the heck? It won't let me change it to the login shell? That's freaking dumb. Well, root user's getting turned back on and getting my SSH key now. So we're going to edit the root user, make it enabled. I don't feel like changing. And yeah, authorize keys. All right, so we should be good here. Exit. Also, this isn't accessible publicly and has MFA turned on for that account too, so I don't really care. And now I have a root shell, so I can actually like work. If this was like my production thing, or if I was doing this for a client, I'd obviously leave root turned off because that's like a known thing that you could SSH into root, and that's a common username. And security is just like how long until you get pwned, basically. So not knowing the username, which is a fact you need to pwn someone, hiding that's a good thing. So user local Etsy telegraph .d sudo vi syslog.conf. All right, inputs. So boom, inputs, syslog. And I think it being sh was screwing up special characters too. So server equals TCP : 6514. So what this is saying is, hey, you're going to see syslog messages coming into here. Cool. I don't care about certificates because it's coming off the local box. Oh, what? It supports other messaging standards now. That one's new. I forgot about that. So now you can do syslog _ crap. Standard R, I think it's 3164. Is the syslog standard for FreeBSD. I won't do the structured data thing yet. I'm going to see what comes in and then do the SD param if I think that's necessary. Alright, make sure I didn't... Alright, cool. So now we're going to do delete loki or outputs.loki ctv. Then we're going to do outputs loki. You can tell I've done this before. And then I think you just need the domain because Loki works as a cluster. 10.0.0.30 3100 Oh, crap. I need to name pass it. Crap. Insert and, oh, frickin' FreeBSD. We're gonna use nano because, yeah, I'm a goddamn peasant, I guess. Alright. So now I want to do name pass, which is basically telling an input, I only care about the measurements listed in this array. So like I want to do suricata, syslog, and I'm going to have to comb through some of the other stuff in the database. Loading, data explorer, OpenSense. Worst part is I'm going to have to set up OpenSense again to figure some of this crap out. CPU, disk I/O, MNet system, and CPU and users uptime. All right, cool. So it should just be suricata and syslog. That should be the only things, right? 7 days. Anyway. So we should see syslog and all that whatnot come in through here. I'm going to do from beginning just to populate some data for suricata. Ah, crap. My muscle memory is so used to VI and Vim now. Nano's like the second language now, which is weird. Or the second class editor for me. All right. So VI, all that fun stuff for Loki, USR, local, Etsy, Telegraph. I'll have to burn that key, but whatever. Ignore disk.io, inputs.net, suricata. From beginning, true. And all that is basically saying is that when you see this log, send me everything from the beginning. It helps a lot with debugging stuff, or if like, at work the other day I noticed that a log wasn't being captured and I needed it retroactively and I didn't want to have to read through the crappy IIS logs that aren't parsed. Looking through those is ugh. And so I wanted to look at it parsed. So I did the from beginning flag on that metric and then got rid of that little config block and restarted the service again, and it was fine. So I think that's why that's there. It's a really handy feature to have. Double check on the Loki conf. Awesome. Is it called suricata? Yeah, it is. Boom, boom. Alright. So that's gone. That's doing its thing. And now, once that's good, so now I'm going to go to the OpenSense lobby dashboard. I'm going to reload Telegraph to make sure that's working. And then go pull up logging. Settings, remote targets. All right. This shouldn't have anything. Like, I'm not messing with user passwords, and I'm not going to show, like, OTP seeds or dumb stuff like that, so. You guys can actually see this part. So from here, I can do the DNS filter. I want that for sure. Suricata. It'd be cool if I can just send that stuff to suricata over syslog. The resolver log. So if that's all available through syslog, and I have something that's a really good syslog server, I might just be able to be like, hey, send syslog here and contribute that to OpenSense. All But yeah, that should be good for now. Then save, host name, localhost, and then 6514. Then apply. So now we should start seeing syslog coming into the OpenSense database. I also already have the Ansible config to set all of this up for Linux. Setting it up in OpenSense isn't too bad. Let me double check there's nothing damning in that part of it that I don't already have to burn after the stream. Telegraph, general, output. Telegraph. Yeah, there are passwords in here, but basically you just have to click enable influxdb v1 output and then put in where you want that to go. The other nice thing too is that you can just use HTTP basic auth for influxdb v1, which isn't too hard to set up, especially once you get all the Ansible niceties like vault. So, yay. All right. So now we should start seeing log information coming in through Loki. Is OpenSense not running? All right, let's refresh the log view. Let's go back to Loki. What? It's not seeing anything from Loki yet? Did I crash Influx? Or is Telegraph working? Telegraph's working. I wonder if I'm just not having enough activity for it to like justify doing anything. So like go to Google. Let's open up the LXC mirror. But yeah. Open up my Proxmox, or that doesn't query DNS. Poop. So yeah. Maybe now we have data? Gib data, please? Gib? Is for me? Because it should have the right... Oh, let's... Alright, so telegraph, config, test, Etsy telegraph. LSOFIN. So let's see. Oh crap, this doesn't have... I have to use netstat, right? Yeah. Or is it Tulpin? I always use LSOF. I saw that on Stack Overflow once, and now it's on all my systems. And it's probably different on FreeBSD. Wait, SIM. LS USR Etsy local telegraph. Oh. C telegraph. Wait, what? user local etc. Does the telegraph log get put there? Interfaces, services, telegraph, log file. Oh, yay. The telegraph log is basically telling me I'm dumb. Telegraph.d loki.conf. Oh. So it's basically saying failed in snowflake whatever, failed to create directory cache snowflake. Running agents, user local etc, plugin, outputs, line loki, configuration specified some fields. I think I misspelled name pass. I think that's the issue. Alright, so influxdb name pass. Or I think it's telegraph is what we actually need. Telegraph, name pass. Control F for name or pass. Oh, name pass is one word. So now, let me put the dashboard back over here and double check chat really quick. Go back to lobby, dashboard, reload telegraph. Alright, so it hasn't, or wait. Oh, wow. I put name in, but not name pass. Alright, so yay, now we're on to syslog failing, because I'm guessing it's parsing like alphabetically or something. And didn't put quotes around a string, which is bad. And now we go forward, restart telegraph one more time. Hopefully we made it through the config check this time, and we're going to start seeing syslog standard, which I could have swore was a thing. When was that added? And then it's RFC 3164 request for comment. Error running, load configure file. So what it's saying now is error loading syslog standard, but they weren't used. So I need to go look at the release notes for Telegraph, I'm pretty sure, which I forget if they put it in the repo or not. Telegraph release notes. Oh, you can output to syslog. That's kind of cool. But that's like a year back. So let's actually at least explore if we got host metrics first, just to see if we got that far. Cat Etsy. Or it's var log suricata. Eve.json. No, there's data in there. And I'll name past Tailstar in there and restart it one more time just to see if that helps. Okay, so now we're going to go forward, restart Telegraph, and go back to the error log. And it's mad at my toml again. Oh, I'd be mad at my toml too. So there is something there that has like all this suricata data. But I wonder if it's like the measurement override screwing with it and preventing it from writing out. So this documentation's confusing as hell right now, to be honest. Oh, and I did TCP too, which would be the reason why syslog might not be coming out of the other end. Because I think right now it's set up as UDP, because syslog should be UDP by default. Yeah. UDP. The reason for that is that remote logging. The reason for that is just there's just a crap load of data that goes over syslog. So all the data should be going over UDP now, so we should be receiving syslog maybe in the right format. Maybe. The RFC standard for message parsing by default, RFC blah 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 is used, only supports UDP transport. No streaming support, must be one of, okay. So I think now that UDP is enabled, that other error should have gone away. So now if I go back to services, Telegraph, log file, error, but it's still mad about syslog standard not being a thing, which is stupid. Explore, Loki, log browser. Alright, so let's explore something where it might already have this information, because it's not, it looks like it's not scraping even the the eve.json. So it's not scraping from OpenSense either. All right. So let's figure out where we went wrong with Suricata. Name override Suricata, tag keys from beginning. All this field should be JSON strings. Varlog Suricata eve.json. So now we should be able to cat this. Cat. Okay, so that's a real file. A real file with JSON in it. So yeah, hopefully I can just scrape syslog and figure that out. So I think I'll just go with that approach. Clear. So syslog, RFC, whatever. Ready, break. Telegraph, syslog, RFC 3164. Can you show us your Nginx config sending over UDP, access log, syslog, tag Nginx. So apparently this has been around for a minute. Or when was this fixed? It's merged February 3rd. UDP for, we have a ton of network equipment in the field with only... Okay. So is there modern versions of syslog? This also addresses... Working update here, June 24th. 19 days ago, approved plugin syslog readme. So the branch got added. It looks like a new PR built from... So yeah, this was merged 17 days ago. So I might be crap out of luck. Master. Well, that kind of sucks. But you should be able to go into the releases and figure out, like, releases 18 days ago. God, that's why. Linter fixes, update GJSON. So close. So close. So basically, if my math is right, this got updated like one day before they freaking released it, so it'll be in the next version of Telegraph. As for Suricata, I'm gonna kind of not care for now, and I'll just leave everything set up, and then it'll magically fix itself. So, yeah, because that README was updated 17 days ago. And the last release was like 18 or 19 days ago. I think it just missed the window. So I have to wait for the next release to come out and then for that to land in OpenSense. I don't feel like building it from source. I want it, but not that badly. I'm hyped that they got it, though. All right, so next month, I guess I'll get to start parsing it out for logs, which is, I have a month's worth of work to do before then. So let's do logging targets. Let's edit this. So what do I care about? Acme client would be kind of cool. Kind of curious what I can get out of the audit. Filter. Depinger. Yeah, depinger would actually be good. OpenVPN, probably. NTP, whatever. I've never... What was it? I haven't had to deal with NTP issues that often, and it's only been on Windows boxes, either because VMware Tools thinks it needs to be the NTP daemon, which that's just dumb, thanks VMware, or other stuff. Or just Windows being Windows. Routing, I don't do a ton of routing, so I'm not the good person to ask about it, but yeah. Yeet logs to Telegraph. All right, so now, so that's why. So close, yet so far away. How do I not have this starred? I don't feel like logging into GitHub right now. So next thing I need to do is go to home. And let's start ripping off my own dashboards. Boards, Control F, Linux. Manage host metrics. Yeah, so now that Loki's working, I'm getting the OS statistics. And it's nice that it's in one place. So now that I'm a little older and a little wiser, uptime in days. Yeah. I can't use the uptime format one, but I don't necessarily care about that. The interface thing, I'm just going to plot all the interfaces on a graph instead of doing it the other way. You actually get the visual representation and all the disk stuff up there. This is something I could do with Influx, but just didn't feel like doing it. CrowdSec, I don't have anything with CrowdSec on my LAN because I have OpenSense in front of everything on my LAN that gets exposed to the public. So it's either not exposed to the public directly, or I haven't set up everything to get proxied through my Nginx front end. So I'll probably get around to doing that eventually. I'm definitely going to do that off stream though, because I'll bork my firewall or something and interrupt the stream. So I think we're going to do failed services today because I kind of have all the load and memory count, CPU count, all that jazz. So I need to figure out failed services, which is a loki query, which is kind of something I need to get better at. So I'm going to do this from Explore to try to find the failed services first, or open Explore in another tab and copy paste the query. Go to Loki, go to host. Sasha, I think, was having issues yesterday. Show logs. That's the other nice thing, is since they're all being... Loki is a weird logging system. So the way it works in influxdb is that it shoves everything into the database as parsed fields. From what I've gathered about Loki, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it essentially will index the labeled fields, but then everything else is just stored as Garbo data, and it will assume it's log format by default. It's not a huge deal if you're using Telegraph for your collector, because it'll send everything in log format. So it'll query it on the fly with minimal indexing, which I think makes scaling easier, and it makes the way they manage storage easier because they optimize it for using object stores like S3 or Azure Blob Storage and whatever GCP calls their S3 knockoff or their SP3 compatible thing. So these are all indexed, and then this is taken from elsewhere. Exact numbers. All right. So for failed services, data does not have a time field. Oh, well then. We don't want it to be a time series. We want it to be a table. And there's no data because active doesn't actually get a value. Because it's not... Yeah, because it's a detected field, so it's something that's being calculated. So now you do the pipe character where you do like log format. And then everything runs in a, it'll be all set up as series, and then you can do transformations where you like group them. I think that's how that works. I am still getting my head wrapped around like how grouping and all that stuff works, but it feels... I'm remembering back when I was on vacation in Colorado and did a lot of the dashboarding, because whenever I wasn't like hiking, I was just chilling out in the hotel room working on dashboards. It was a great vacation where I worked a bunch. Filter data by values, removes rows or queries and the resulting values. So we're for sure going to want this at some point, but not right now. What do we want? We want the group one. Merge mini series. We're going to merge it. Time is not a number because I don't think we have a time field set up yet. Query type, legend, query options, time shift, interval, maximum data points. So I don't think you can define a time field here. Maybe? Legend controls the name of the time series using the pattern. Sample host name will be replaced with label. Okay, cool. So that's the line. I need to figure out how I did this for host data. So we're just going to apply this for now. Go back to host metrics. Figure out how which things I had to do over here to kind of massage it out. So organized fields, I think it was, it was reduce series to row and then last not null. So I did an organized fields and a reduce in that order. So transformations, organized field, reduce, and then another organized field after that. We're not going to do that. We're going to do last non-null. And then we did reduce fields, collapse each field into a single value. I think it wasn't merge. And then we'll do it. I think we have to delete here. Did I do a join transformation first? Edit. Transformations. Oh, labels to fields. That's why. That's why that worked. Transformation. Add labels to fields. Returns logs tags as labels. Select. So now this guy needs to go up here. Host. All right. So now this kind of looks like what we want, right? And now, so now like load code, active code, and all of this is just kind of like pivoted out and actually makes a bit of sense. So now we need to get rid of the ID field. Doesn't matter because that's Loki accounting. We care about the timestamp because we just want to know like when it reported. So if like the host hasn't checked in, maybe. We have dead main alerts for that, I guess. Active. The sub and subcode don't really matter either. And then where's load and load code? So we have the name of the service. So now we need to do the, what is it? The reduce to last. Reduce. We don't want max. We want to do last not null. But I forget if we need to do that after. Because now it's like only showing one service name. So I wonder if we have to like do it like that. Or I guess we want to do unique. Last, first, min, max, total, just. Number of distinct values, difference percentage, difference count. Yeah, we'll figure it out. First not null, last not null. Reduce fields. Choose stat. Total count, range, delta step difference. Change count. Distinct count. Like that. Nope. So I want to reduce the number. I think I want to do the reduce first. Or does reduce require like things to make sense? So host is going to be the same. So let's delete this. And let's play with the idea that each, we want to do it on name instead of host. And then all of those are going to be, yeah, JK on that one. Oh, that's a pivot operation. So it's always showing these, but it's not grabbing a unique value. So I only care about the last instance of each one of these. So I wonder if that's something I can fix query side by doing an instant. Just cron, crowdsec, crowdsec. That got me down to doubles. Yep, no. We care about more than just network manager or some random service. And I wonder if telling that it's log format is goofing it too. And now do the range. Let's go back to host metrics and kind of split that out. Host metrics. Alright. Edit. So you're going to go over there and go tiling's hard. No, no, my Firefox. My Firefox is gone. That's fine. Oh. Yeah, that might help too, is if I like only say, okay, everything's in log format, but I only care about like 2 fields. That might actually help a bunch. So I want to say that this is log format. We're going to change this to a table. We're going to get no data, which is fine for now, I'm pretty sure. And we also want to make it $host, because reasons. So we want to do everything. Oh man. So we don't want to do active code 3 because that's dead stuff. Oh yeah, because now we're back in series. So I want everything with name active code. So I want to pipe regex and then basically anything with lowercase name and active. Right. I think name's a label, which is probably what's goofing it. So that might be what's goofing it. So regular expression equals active. So where the line contains active code, that's like a super safe bet. So yeah, the queries, the actual like code you're writing is a lot shorter and to me a lot more intuitive. So All right, so now we got that down. Now we're going to follow the transformations that we did here. So we want to do labels to fields. And then we're going to see what happens if we select host. I don't think host really helps. I'm curious if we do name, what that does. Or no, name makes it... Wait. Aaron loaded load code sub. Yeah, so that makes it go all horizontal like. If we do active... And then host load, yeah, subcode, active code. So host is how we want things to be arranged because now we get all the statistics we want. And now we need to do an organized fields, which is basically like, hey, I don't really care about you. Shut up. I don't really think we care about it. About time zone. We don't care about the Aaron field, quote unquote. We don't care about the log ID. We don't care about the timestamp thing. Don't care about sub or subcode. We do care about the name. So basically we want the name and the active code. Can we sort through these? Yeah. And then we can kind of do some fancy mapping. And I think that's all it is on the other dashboard. Services name, active, sub. So name, active, and sub are the only ones we really need on. We can get rid of active code. And then we can add the color mapping. You could do that in Influx too, but yeah. Another reason why I kind of cared more about the about wanting to use Grafana is that there's way more, and I guess Prometheus for the query language too, is that like more people use it than Flux query, so the Google factor or like the ability to search it out in a search engine is way easier. Because it's like, I don't want to say industry standard, but a lot of people are using it because people are still using Nagios. Poor souls, but... Host, Grafana. All right, so he did, or I did series to rows here. So let's do add a transformation, a reduce. Remove part of the query results by using a regex pattern. We don't want to do max, we want to do last not null and see what that does. So I don't think that operation's correct. Reduce field, collapse each field into a single value. We don't want to do that. So I don't think reduce is the right one. So I think we got all the help we're going to get out of that one. So now I need to get this down to like unique, basically. So I just need to get like the last one of these. So add transformation. Collapse each field into a single value. What'll that do? Yeah, no. Series to row, create a table with one row for each time series value. I wonder if we want to do that like up here. So let's delete. And then do series to rows. And we'll do last not null. Alright. So that was a freaking terrible idea. It was an organized field. It was labels to fields. Add label to field. Select host. Plop you up here because that makes sense of the world. So then I did a reduce series to rows. I don't want to do max. But that only gives me one, which is where I think reduce might not be the right one. No, I want reduce. I wonder if there's a way to do percent different distinct count. Name sub active. That doesn't help. Yeah, I wonder if there's a better transformation to use. Renames part of a query, filter data. Filter data, this is useful if you're sharing results. There's many queries you want to visualize. Filter data by values, removes row or query results using... Oh. Group by? Group by name, calculate. I wonder if I get rid of this. What does that do? Oh god, no, 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 no. No. How about hell nah? Label to field. host. I'm just kidding, querying gods. There we go. All right, I wonder if no, filter by name, removes part of the query results, see regex pattern. Sort by fields in a frame, histogram, merge. So how did I do this with Flux? I did it as a group, but I wonder if I did the operations differently. All right. So systemd units where the host is host. I want the active fields. So I might want to do first or last. So group. So reduce. But what if I do it before I go up there? Well, they're still all in one series. So I think this is it. Network manager, container. I don't know why network manager's duplicated, but systemd temp user files, WP supplicant. So I want to do active first, then sub, I'm pretty sure. And then I want to do the color mapper thing just because that's cool. Maybe not. So we're going to rename this one systemd services. And I want to sort these alphabetically, I want to say. Reduce fields, last, not null. Then I want to do a sort by name. Awesome. So now I should be able to just fix this by doing like a sub equals dead. In theory. So now if I do active AC, just in case I bork it. It would be failed. Nope, that's not the one. I think I need to view the logs in a more pure form. I'm gonna just get the W here and call it good, but yeah. So I got the systemd services. So now I want to get the failed services. And I don't think I would need to do the status thing. And I can just kind of plop it over here. Or right here. But I wish I could clone panels. That'd be kind of cool. Oh, duplicate. Neat. Duplicate. Edit. Boom. I wish you could like mute these. That'd be kind of cool. Just so that way I could like view the data raw. But yeah. Sort by was easy. None of this is like, oh, active code, subcode. So I need active code equal to some value. I need to parse it based off of that, but yeah. So Control Z. Alright, so Control Z does something different than I think it does. But query. So now I want to do active code equals 3. And then it should just pop up like app armor. Booyah! Should just pop up like active code 3 and all that. So let's copy that, discard that, delete. More, duplicate. Whatever. So equals backslash quote 3 backslash quote quote, because regular expressions are fun. And now I can go to this organize fields transformation and just do like the failed services, app armor mont-d. Because this, since I'm saying the service has failed and it doesn't like reveal anything else super useful, I just need to do name. And then apply. And then I think that would fit in well like over here kind of. Yeah, so I'm at a good stopping spot. I got some home lab stuff done. I should probably mow. I don't want to, but I'm going to go mow and go move my sprinkler. It was real streaming again, so thanks for paying attention to me ramble. Bye, guys.